long time in which our children and our grandchildren inherit an America that's a little poorer and a little meaner than the one that we received from our. And that's unacceptable. That's un-American. And so the challenge we have today, people, the reason we're here is because it's not an absence of solutions that are preventing us from creating that brighter future. It's the incapacity of our leadership to pull us together and get to work. And I'm tired of that, and I want to get busy. I want to get to work. I want to get ready to go forward and lead a new beginning in this year. Think about it. We know the problems, but we also know the solutions. We know that if we put money into preventive care, so that every child has regular checkups, then they won't be going to the emergency room because they got asthma. They'll have gotten a treatment already, and we'll all stay right. You know that if you get a diabetic and you give them regular treatments, that's going to save you money. You won't have to pay for the $30,000 leg amputation because they didn't get medicine. You can save money by treating people right. And that money can go into providing health insurance for every single American. And I want to let you know, by the end of the next president's first term, by the end of my first term, the reason we haven't done it is not because we don't know how to create a better healthcare system. It's because we've had the insiders and the lobbyists writing the bills. But that's going to change. We know what we need to do on education. We know that early childhood education works. And if we provide kids who need it the educational support that they need early on, then that pays dividends their entire lifetime. We know that the single most important ingredient for a good education for our young people is good teachers. And we need to pay our teachers more. And we need to give them what they can do. They want to be held accountable. We know what to do. They want their students to perform. But we need to give them the resources to do it. And what's preventing us from doing it? The reason that no child left behind left the money behind. It's not because we don't know how to educate these young people. It's because we have decided as a country that there's some young people who we don't need to educate. And that is unacceptable. That's un-American. We know what needs to be done in terms of giving everybody in this economy a fair shake. That we have to invest in infrastructure in the cities and in the rural areas. We got to lay down broadband lines so that they have access to the new economy. And we got to train our workers for the jobs of the future, not just the jobs of the past. We know that we got to negotiate fair agreements in this country, across the world, because we believe in trading with every country on earth. But we don't want to be taken advantage of. We want to make sure that we're looking after American workers right here. And we don't want to be giving tax breaks to companies for shipping jobs overseas. We want to give tax breaks to companies that are investing right here in America. We know what we can do with an energy strategy. The reason we don't do it is not because of the lack of technical solutions. We can create alternative fuels, biodiesel and ethanol, and we can create solar energy and wind power, and harness and create jobs and businesses as a consequence of investing in clean technologies. We know how to do it. Other countries are doing it. But the reason we're not doing it right now is because we got oil companies writing the energy bills. And we need Americans like you that none of this can happen until we bring an end to this war in Iraq. I am proud of the fact that back in 2002 I said this was a bad idea. Because I feared that without evidence of weapons of mass destruction, that without an imminent threat, we would be having an open-ended commitment and have no exit strategy. But whether you were for the war or against the war then, all of us can agree now that it is time to give the Iraqis their country back, that there is no military solution to the problem, that there is only a political solution. I put in a bill that says on May 1st of this year, we will begin a phased redeployment of our troops. We will start taking them home. We'll put them in Afghanistan to fight the war that needs to be fought. We'll put them in troubled areas around the world. And by March 31st of next year, we should have all combat troops out of Iraq. But we can't finish there. It won't stop there. Because if we truly want to create a better future, not just for our own kids, but for kids around the world, then we have to recognize that we're going to have to rebuild international institutions. And we've got to rebuild countries that are now ungoverned and have collapsed. That we're going to have to spend time thinking about nations like Darfur. Not just because we have a humanitarian and moral commitment to preventing genocide, but because when children are brought up in the midst of violence and chaos and anarchy, then their lives become chaotic, and their hearts become hardened, and they're willing to engage in the kind of terrorist activity that results in a 9/11. In other words, we've got to match the might of our military to the strength of our diplomacy and the power of our alliances, and protect our hopes and ideals, the best of American values all around the world, if we truly want to be secure. Now, I've been trying to preach that to the White House for some time now, and they don't seem to be paying attention. Now, the American people sent a strong message in November, but the White House is still not paying attention. Dick Cheney the other day said it was a good thing that Tony Blair was pulling his troops out. He said that was all according to the plan. I don't understand what plan that is that would put our troops in while the British are taking their troops out. I don't understand what our troops don't do. I trust Tony Blair's judgment at this point more than I trust Dick Cheney's. But here's the thing. So we know what needs to be done. The question is, are we going to do it? Because, and the reason I say that is this. Every time an election rolls around, there's excitement, and there are posters, and there's a candidate who maybe catches people's attention. And then the confetti is swept away, and the election's over, and a lot of stuff doesn't change.